Playtest 8. Let's start with Monk. So last time they got nerfed to the ground and got a lot of negative feedback. Let's see what they did this time. Welcome to Pack Tactics. Daniel says hi. By the way, before I start, I actually do recommend watching the Playtest 6 Monk video of mine because I talk a lot about Monk's problems in great detail there. I've never made a standalone version of it, so I decided to put all the details in the playtest instead. I'm really proud of it actually. It's a very good video. So anyways, martial arts scaling is the same as the previous playtest. Monk weapons is back, which means simple weapons and martial weapons that have the light property now scale with your martial arts. By the way, yes, that martial weapon proficiency is new. That means you have proficiency in hand crossbows. Keep that in mind. Overall, this is good. It makes it multi-class friendly and opens up a lot more concepts. The bad news is weapon masteries is gone. I don't think it needed to go, but I guess Fighter 1 dip will still be appealing for monks for fighting styles and weapon masteries. Maybe they thought Monk got too many features at level 1. I don't know. Anyways, next. Bonus action unarmed strike is no longer tied to the attack action. You could just do it whenever. This is actually quite big in general for, again, this is multi-class friendly and it opens up more concepts. You can, for example, cast a spell and then bonus action punch. We're getting the Baldur's Gate treatment now in this playtest and it shows. Now, don't get me wrong, like I am for this, but the only negative thing I can say is this is technically not a boost for martials or monk itself, because really all they do really is just take the attack action anyways. And those are the classes it should appeal to the most in my opinion, and especially the melee playstyle kind, but Baldur's Gate has kind of opened the gates there. If it wasn't for that game, they would have never done this. Now that I think about it, it does help grapplers, which we'll talk about now, and this is an extra bonus. They get dexterous attack, which allows you to use your dex mod in place of your strength mod when settling the saving throw DC of the grapple or shove options of your unarmed strikes. This is very exciting. It opens up a lot of interesting interactions like shoving people prone and then bonus action punch, for example. Maybe you have the grappler feat and you can drag people through spike growth your druid friend cast. I don't know. This is very fun to think about, and having more things to do rather than taking the attack action every round is very good. There's still a problem with your AC, so don't get too attached. It might trap you still. Unarmed movement still hasn't changed, by the way. Well, there is something at level 3, but we'll talk about that later. Let's go to level 2. I feel like I leveled up in real life. Me and Gator got a kebab. In Norwegian, it's called sulpikken. No, Gator, we're not teaching them that. Don't. Anyways, Monk. I'm gonna start with Uncanny Metabolism. In the last playtest, this was a level 7 feature. And I said in the video that it should be a level 2 feature instead because Monk has a serious key problem. Well, I've got very good news. They actually listened to me. Yay! By the way, I shouldn't take full credit because it's an open playtest and a lot of people have that same opinion. This is not an original idea. I've seen this in people's homebrews like 4 years ago. This is also connected to initiative rolls, and you regain some hit points too. I think I've seen an almost exact copy of this. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing or anything. I'm fine with Wizards of the Coast taking ideas from homebrews or other systems. This is a perfect feature, and I'm not going to complain about it. This needs to be here. I don't care if it's original or not. Now let's get into the really interesting part of the playtest. You can now disengage or dash as a bonus action for free, just like a rogue. They almost got it correct. Almost. Almost. They were so close. Step of the Wind says, alternatively, you can spend 1 key to take both the disengage and dodge actions as a bonus action. And your jump distance is doubled for the turn. It costing key is actually not a problem for once, but it's got several problems still. And this also applies to patient defense too, by the way. That allows you to disengage and dodge for the cost of 1 key, by the way. Anyways, the first problem is obvious. You used a bonus action. That means you can't combine this with Flurry of Blows. Your damage lowers if you disengage. Your AC still sucks. Don't forget about that. Don't be greedy with damage. Even with the boost to deflect attacks that works in melee now, it's still a big risk in a difficult fight where there's multiple mobs. Same thing, if you get focus fire, you're gonna go down. That's a very common thing you see with monks. By the way, not gonna lie, super cool change. I do approve of deflect attacks, but we gotta focus focus on Step of the Wind again. So the second problem is that the Step of the Wind alternative, where you spend ki to do more like dash, disengage, and jump distance doubling, this helps range skirmishing playstyles more than melee, and I think that's bad for the game. I pointed both of these problems out in my video too, and now Monk naturally gets proficiency in hand crossbows. Gunk playstyle is looking very appealing, and I'm more excited to play a gunk than a regular monk. That's not good. If you don't know what a gunk is, it's basically a ranged monk. Link in the description where I generally talk about what a gunk build is. One more thing, and I forgot to mention this last time. Acrobatic movements. You gain the ability to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during the movement. Why is this a level 9 feature? I remember I was playing in an optimization gauntlet game, and I was playing as a gunk, and then the DM cast spike growth on the floor and then hit his monster around the corner. I asked him if I could dash and run along the wall because that's like a monk thing, you know? But he told me no, because I'm not a level 9 monk. And keep in mind, this is an optimization game. Of course they're gonna meme your class, especially if it's a martial. So I couldn't run on the wall. I didn't even get a check. Right now, in this version of Monk, I can dash and my jump distance is doubled. But I can't run on the wall for some reason, which is really silly. I need to be level 9. Anyways, if they fix these problems, then they've actually fixed Tier 1 Monk for good. Skipping ahead, they also didn't fix Stunning Strike at all. It's still nerfed to the ground for melee. I mean, sure, they do more damage now, that's great. Damage is accounted for, but it still works with ranged monk weapons. This is still better for ranged skirmishing. Now I just want to gunk even more. I don't want to play monk normally, are you kidding me? Next, level 10, new feature, heightened discipline. Flurry of blows, patient defense, and Step of the Wind got boosted if you spend ki. All of them still cost 1 ki, by the way. Flurry of blows makes it so you do 3 unarmed strikes instead of 2. Patient defense, you gain temporary HP equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die. And Step of the Wind lets you choose a willing creature within 5 feet of you to move with you until your turn ends. This doesn't provoke opportunity, by the way. Monk finally got the damage boost for Tier 3 play, but it still has problems that I mentioned at level 2. And this is the level where that deflect attacks isn't as useful as it was in Tier 1 play. But still, I'm happy there's something here. Patient defense is very fitting, I really like it. Now, Step of the Wind is really the thing that's stealing the show here. Like, if your party has phantom steeds, which is common to see at optimized games, you can dash 200 foot speed with your steed and then get off the steed and use Step of the Wind to make you and the steed travel even further. That's like, what, another 100 feet with your horse? I'm not even gonna bother looking up the correct speed. The point is, this is bonkers. And of course, you can save your team from danger or help them skirmish more. That's like the intent here. Anyways, we gotta talk about the damage because that's a really big deal. This is very good, but you can also add a straight up boring extra attack somewhere in the Tier 3 progression that doesn't cost ki. Like, there can be 2 features here too. I wouldn't mind that. Spells are utterly insane here, so there's room for it. Now, obviously, this would also boost ranged skirmishing, but there's some things in ranged skirmishing I want them to do, and some things I don't want them to do. Like, I don't want them to stun. Are you kidding me? Hey, I'm back after playing D&D. We killed undead people. Anyways, we're gonna pick up the pace. Self-restoration is kind of dumb now. I'm happy that this is a free action and doesn't cost ki, but like, this can just be immunity to these conditions instead, and that makes it less swarty. Perfect Discipline got boosted to if you have 3 or lower ki, you regain ki until you have 4. Very good. Now, there is a problem here at level 17 where there's not another damage boost. That level 20 feature can technically be the 17th level feature, but I personally don't think that's enough after seeing the monsters that came out this year. Have you guys seen how powerful the Time Dragon is? Jesus. It's so good. Wizard can turn people into time dragons, yet this monk still has Tier 3 damage output. Are you kidding me? I think if they keep the defenses as they are now, then the ranged monk is going to get really popular. The melee isn't strong enough in Tier 3 or 4 play. You got an extra punch from Flurry, and of course more ki, and that helps DPR. But that's it when it comes to your main job. as a main damage dealer. That's not a big upgrade. Then after you get that feature, you're not getting any damage upgrade until level 20. Let that sink in. That's quite a long time. That's 9 levels. I mean, sure, your martial arts die does scale at level 17, but like, come on. What you really need in tier 3 and 4 is to be really good at your job. The casters are making massive leaps every 2 levels. Keep that in mind. And they have options. If they want to invest all of it into defense, then they can do that. But usually they don't do that. You don't have a choice. You have to take these defensive features. What you really need to do as a monk at tier 3 is to do more damage, or you need to do more powerful controls. And when I'm talking about control, I'm talking about it affecting enemies, like an AoE effect. Your last control, quote unquote, was at level 11 with the Step of the Wind. And that's to your ally. But the question is it really that useful? Who are you really disengaging? A caster? Maybe, but most casters have like a backup plan for this. They have Misty Step, they have Dimension Door. The point is, those classes that struggle with defenses, they usually fix their defenses immediately. Tier 1. And the last control you got that affects enemies is Stunning Strike. Stunning Strike, level 5. And that Stunning Strike never got better. It's still the best at ranged attacks. You know the spammable Stunning Strike that everyone thought was broken? That could totally just be in tier 3. That could be a level 15 feature to replace Perfect Discipline. People would be jumping out of their seats. Is it broken? No, the casters are broken right now. They're doing insane things. Why can't this do insane things? I don't understand, and I've spent too much time on this, so we're gonna move on to subclasses. Open hand technique. They fixed Addle to be like what it was in 5e. Good. This change alone is a very big deal for Flurry. You can actually like move away from the dangerous enemy after doing a Flurry. But that's if you hit, by the way. Level 11 fixes that. That lets you Step of the Wind even if you use a bonus action on something else. 6th level, Wholeness of Body now allows you to regain HP without expending ki. Thank God, we've got 3 good features so far, back to back. Capstone, Quivering Palm is still nerfed to the ground. It sucks. That was the only subclass we got today. That was everything. That was the entire monk. Conclusion, I want to play Gunk now. I don't want to play Monk. End of video. I hope I earned your subscription. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.